very good. We have taken a look at the big ideas surrounding OSGi. We've taken a look at bundles. We've taken a look at what can go inside of bundles with components and services. We see how we can share features of bundles using the export-import header, as well as a couple others. Now let's go ahead and get into some more of the details of OSGi by taking a look at the OSGi framework. So the architecture of OSGi. So OSGi has a couple of standards that go with it. There's the OSGi core and the OSGi Compendium. Now with those two standards, right, there's a couple of different organizations, I'll call them, that have implementations of these standards. Some of these names might look pretty familiar, like Apache and Eclipse, as well as some other ones out there. But for the most part, the two big names, the two big implementations we're going to be seeing is Apache Felix and Eclipse Equinox. Right, and so when we're using the core or the compendium, we need to declare them as specific dependencies. So again, over in the Liferay world, we're going to be using Gradle, and inside of the dependency file, I'll call it, called build.gradle, this is where we can declare that we have a dependency on the OSGi core or the OSGi compendium. Now let's take a look at the OSGi framework and some of the parts of it. Another name for this is also the modular framework as well. So starting off with bundle, one of the 5. So the bundle aspect is, as we have been talking about all along, the OSGi bundle. We define the bundle as the basic unit of deployment. So whatever we're trying to deploy into the OSGi framework, this is where the bundle is going to come into play. And just as a review, right, the OSGi or N OSGi bundle is just a jar file, right? This jar file has a manifest file inside of it with some OSGi specific headers. It's self-contained, so whatever's inside of the bundle is going to work on its own. It's a very manageable, very testable unit, right? So all done or all managed thanks to the OSGi framework. The service layer, this is where we talked about the service registry, right? So all of the services that are created using the OSGi methodology that we talked about, it's all going to be handled by this services or service layer, right? So as we're looking for services, as we're publishing them, as we're binding them, it's all thanks to the services layer and the service registry that all of these things are able to occur. Right. We talked about the OSGi lifecycle, right? This is managed by the Lifecycle Layer. So an OSGi bundle has a number of different states within its own lifecycle. Again, the big ones are installed, resolved, and active. Right? We can then use specific commands to try to kickstart the module lifecycle. So we can try to start a module that's resolved, or try to resolve the dependencies by doing refresh, or we can install a bundle as well using the install command. Right, the modules layer. Right, so this is one of the very important aspects, but often kind of not talked about too much. So we're going to give it the limelight that it deserves. So a lot of the class loading is going to be taken care of by the modules layer, right? So the bundle and the whole idea of modularity is going to revolve around and going to be handled in part by the modules layer, right? So as we share features, as we export and import packages, it's going to be the modules layer that's going to take care of a lot of this for us. Right? And then the execution environment layer, right? This is the one who is responsible for ensuring that this whole OSGi framework is going to be running within our JVM, within the Java runtime, and making sure that everything that needs to be run is going to be run, and any version compatibility issues will be taken care of. And so you may notice within the manifest file of a bundle that you can specify which version of Java your bundle needs to run on. And it's going to be this execution environment layer who's going to be responsible for enforcing that and making sure that it happens. So very good. Again, this is just kind of a more deep dive or a more detailed overlook at what's really going on inside of the OSGi framework. For the most part, again, a lot of these guys are going to be kind of overshadowed by the actual nitty-gritty details of developing bundles. But it's good to know, who are the stars, who are the behind the scenes, who's helping us take care of these little things so we can worry about the big things. So with all of that, we're going to be moving on to the next section.